Here's what I get asked on a weekly basis. Lindie, how do you balance all of these languages in your head? Don't you mix them up? Time blocking does not work for me either anymore, or it never really worked. I have been diagnosed with ADHD. It just opens my mind more and more to researching, like, how do people with ADHD manage all of their tasks when calendar blocking doesn't work? And I found different methods that work for me. No gatekeeping here. I'm going to share with you all of my tips, methods, etc. that I have learned over 13 years of self-studying languages. The languages that I'm most comfortable in and pretty much use on a daily basis are English, Afrikaans, French, Hungarian, Spanish, Korean, Japanese. On the side, I'm also picking up Dutch and working through a little bit of Vietnamese, Indonesian, Mandarin, and Arabic. So by the end of this video, you will have my entire framework for how I manage and balance multiple languages. First, let me debunk a myth that people have about polyglots. I don't know about the others, but I do not study every day. Really, how I balance and maintain these languages is by using them as much as possible. Every possible occasion and opportunity I have. So that's the one thing. You can't just assume, oh my goodness, Lindie's studying 7, 8, 9, 10 languages at the same time. No, I've learned them all at different time periods to certain levels so that I can maintain them. I did not wake up one day and decide, well, today I'm going to start learning 7 languages from scratch. Now that I have done Korean since 2010, it's okay if I leave it there to just use it and then focus on another language like Hungarian, which I really need to be acquiring vocab in and studying. What works for me and what works for a lot of my language coaching clients is the following. Successful language learners do not divide their time and attention equally to each language. Here is the crux of my language maintenance program. This is like, if you get one thing from this video, this is it. What I do is I rotate my focus on languages every few months. It's based on my goals, my travel plans, and honestly, my motivation or energy levels. I like to organize my languages into tiers. Let's take the first quarter of the year, the first 3 months of this year. I choose a main focus language and 2 sub-languages. First is my main focus language, which currently is Hungarian. I'm taking 2 lessons weekly. I'm doing my homework, and I'm also doing a course online where I am watching videos. So right now, for the foreseeable future, until June when I go to Hungary, Hungarian is my main focus. Majority of my active studying goes to that. Then I have a sub-focus language. This is French for me, where I do regular language exchanges. I'm practicing and maintaining my French and Spanish by talking to friends, listening to podcasts, reading books, watching movies, etc. Having this tiered approach for my language learning means that I can make valuable progress in important languages without needing to try to reach fluency in all of them at the same time. It's okay if they fluctuate. One year my French will be like really high and then my Spanish will go like that. That's how I've chosen to be. It is okay for me for my languages kind of to fluctuate over time. I know it'll pan out eventually. One of the biggest ways I learn a language is through content consumption. In fact, I think I've watched more hours of Korean dramas than I actually have like actively studied Korean. And it has helped. So the best way you can learn a language and balance multiple languages is by watching shows and movies. A resource that I really love to use for language learning is Lingopie, and this is where I can get dual language subtitles in the languages I'm learning. I'm a huge fan of Lingopie, and for a while now I've used it to watch shows and learn vocab in Korean, Japanese, Spanish, and Dutch. There's a ton of movies and TV shows and lessons on Lingopie. And when you watch it, you can turn on both language subtitles, your native language and the language you're learning. And if you don't know a word, you just click on the word and it'll get the meaning for you. On Lingopie, you can review words that appeared in the movies and shows you watched and do fun review games too. And there's also an awesome AI grammar explanation feature that breaks down the complex grammar and sentences right in your window. Lingopie not only has a ton of unique shows that you won't find elsewhere, but it also integrates with Netflix so that you can get those dual language subtitles on the shows that you are already watching. What makes Lingopie ideal for multilingual or polyglot learners is that it organizes content by difficulty across languages. So I can choose to watch intermediate or advanced Japanese content and then beginner Portuguese content on the same platform. There are also lessons for some languages, so you can learn actively or just passively consume content, whichever you prefer. Lingopie also keeps expanding their language offerings. Right now, Recently, they added Dutch and Turkish, and I'm still waiting for Hungarian. Hint, hint, LingoPie team, please add Hungarian. I have a link in the description for you where you can get 55% off your LingoPie subscription. So if you want to turn your brain rot Instagram or TikTok scrolling into something more productive while still consuming fun content, then LingoPie is for you. Once you watch something or listen to it enough, turn it into an active learning opportunity by sitting down and saying, all right, I'm gonna take this one sentence of the video I watched, gonna put it into a transcription app, I'm gonna get the transcription for it, get the translation, and study. Do I know the grammar there? Do I know the words? What do I need to get explained by a friend or AI? And can I use my vocabulary and my grammar to comment on this topic? What is my level of being able to interact with this? There is so much more I can say about this, and it makes me really excited. Let's talk about strategic language combination. So what I've been mentioning a lot is called language laddering. I will learn one language to intermediate or advanced before deciding to add another one. You want to not start with a bunch of beginner languages at the same time. You are going to confuse them. You're going to get overwhelmed. Learn to stack them. If you want to learn a bunch of languages, think about what is your native language or languages that you know already, and which languages are similar to those. So if you speak French, you can learn Spanish, Portuguese, or Romanian, or Italian pretty easily, and in less time than someone who doesn't speak French, for instance. First, I did Korean. Then about 6 years later, I started introducing Japanese. There was a connection between Korean and Japanese stemming from the same language family and sharing grammar and some vocab. After getting super comfortable in Korean, I was like, maybe I should try Japanese now. And I learned it a lot faster than I learned Korean because I now had a frame of reference of a similar language. However, there are two sides to the coin here. A thing that can be tricky though is learning two similar languages at the same time from scratch. So if I'm learning French and Spanish from zero as an English speaker, I'm gonna have a hard time and I'm gonna mix them up. So I would recommend first learning French to a high level and then bringing in Spanish so that you have a base to work from and you're not mixing up very similar words. I do recommend pairing languages that won't interfere with each other. My main advice is never to study two complete beginner languages simultaneously. You should balance an easier language with a more challenging one. I have tried a lot of various methods for managing my time between my languages. So, time blocking. I may or may not have mentioned this in previous videos as you should try this works. Newsflash and update, time blocking does not work for me either anymore or it never really worked. Especially now that I have been diagnosed with ADHD and I am on medication for it, it just opens my mind more and more to researching like how do people with ADHD manage all of their tasks when calendar blocking doesn't work. And I found different methods that work for me. Previously, I thought that I could dedicate a specific day to a specific language. I would be like, Mondays are French, Tuesdays Spanish, Wednesdays Hungarian. That didn't work because what if I didn't feel like doing Hungarian on Wednesday? And what if I'm enjoying Hungarian so much, I don't want to restrict myself? So I don't do a different language per day. I try to incorporate various aspects of each language into every day. But like I said, having a main focus where I dedicate majority of my time and then sub-focuses for the other language. What actually works for me is very, very simple. It is a task list method. And I use this in my daily life too. If I look at a calendar where I've calendar blocked everything, tasks, assignments, everything, I panic, I freak out, I see the whole view of the week and I'm like, I can't do this, there's too much. In my normal daily life activities, I use this like crusty, cheap notebook with brown paper and I write every single thing I need to do. And then I spend time categorizing it according to importance. Is it urgent? Is it important? Do I need to do it today or tomorrow? And I use little symbols on the side of the note to visually indicate that to myself. That way I can prioritize it better. And you can use this as an approach for your language learning too. According to your goals, which language is most important to you now? What type of studying do you need to do in this language today, tomorrow, next week, next month? So I create a weekly checklist of must-do activities for each language. These are specific, measurable goals that I can tackle whenever motivation strikes. I am very driven by my mood and my emotions. So if I get home and I'm like, oh, it's feeling good, I think I can study a language now, then I think, okay, I know for Spanish, these are the resources I have, and these are the few activities that I can do. Let me see. Now I think it will be a good idea to spend some time watching a TV show in Spanish and learning words from the subtitles. But on other days, I might bounce between languages a bit more and then just learn things based on what feels interesting to me in the moment. So this approach works with my ADHD. It keeps things interesting. I have a whole bunch of things to try out across different languages, and it doesn't work against my ADHD by being like, Monday, 3 p.m., you need to study Korean and you need to do this. So that's my little task method list that really works for me. If you've tried something similar, let me know in the comments. I would love to know how you guys are also learning languages. By the way, if you've made it this far in the video, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. And I also have a newsletter, so check the description to sign up for that. It's totally free. Next thing I'm going to talk about is building your language routine and environment. My strategy is a language routine made up of a variety of resources that complement each other. So podcasts for passive learning. In Hungarian, I'm listening to Hungarian with Cici and Hungarize, and some podcasts in Hungarian that are not for Hungarian learning, things about AI, UX design, productivity, etc. Then YouTube shadowing. I have another video about how to do shadowing and practice your listening and speaking, so you can check that out. Then language exchange apps for conversation practice or tutors, and then textbooks and spaced repetition systems for structured learning. So this ecosystem or method gives me regular and varied exposure without feeling overwhelmed. And as somebody with ADHD, I really need a lot of different things to keep me engaged. I don't want to just be using the same app for every single language. I need different resources, different themes, different techniques, different methods for all my languages to keep it interesting and to separate them in my brain. It also helps if you know your learning style. Some people debate that learning styles are outdated. For me, it really helps. I know that I'm an auditory learner. I hear something and I'm able to mimic it, copy the accent, and if I hear something, I remember it. Plus, if I write it down with my hand, studies show you remember things much better if you write it on paper with your hand. Then I know those techniques work for me. It's going to help me maintain these languages much more. One of my favorite methods that helps me maintain my languages, despite how little time I have in the week, is hearing the language all the time. Think about somebody who's living in the country where the language is spoken. More often than not, they are improving in that language rapidly because they're hearing it around them. If you don't live in the country, don't worry. There are ways that you can still create an immersive environment for yourself. So I have a Thai, I forgot to mention Thai. I'm also learning Thai. I have a Thai learning CD that it plays in my car all the time. Wherever I'm driving, it's random vocab words in Thai and then English, Thai, English, and a bunch of translations. So I associate driving to work with learning Thai vocab. That is a passive way. I'm not sitting and learning from a textbook. And I'm introducing the language into a daily routine that I already have. So getting in car, driving to work means learning Thai. Obviously, I'm not a robot. I think I did say every day, but it's not every day. I will still listen to music in other languages, pray silently or talk to myself or just sit in silence. But as much as I can and as much as I feel like it, I will bring languages into every day. This concept I got from James Clear, which is like habit stacking or attaching one habit to another. I may have mentioned this in another video, but every time I brush my teeth, I do 30 squats. It's super weird, but now it is automatic in my brain. It's like Pavlov's dog. When this action happens, it triggers this action. So when Lindie brushes her teeth, Lindie does 30 squats. And that's how I keep that habit going. And you can do that with your language learning. Maybe you wake up every morning and instead of opening Instagram, you scroll a news app in your target language. Find something that's interesting to you. Last thing, one of the most important things for me personally is tracking my languages. This helps me balance them. It helps me see how much time I spend on one. Tracking your language, writing things down, or adding it to a spreadsheet or Notion or whatever you use to track things, like a habit tracker, it helps keep the language visual and helps you remember to be using and studying the languages. If you're journaling and actively engaging yourself in your own language learning process, analyzing things, then I can be like, it seems like I've been using Duolingo every day and I haven't improved in 3 months. Maybe I shouldn't be using this. maybe I should be using another app. You are creating your own data points to work from, to analyze and improve from there. Very user researcher speak I'm using here. So to maintain language motivation, I keep a journal where I track the following: weekly study hours for each language, new expressions that I've learned, mistakes I've made, comprehension breakthroughs and wins, which tools and resources I use, what I enjoyed and what I didn't, what worked and what didn't, and what can I improve for the next week. So seeing my progress across multiple languages visually reminds me that I am advancing even when individual language progress feels slow. For managing multiple languages, I use writing in 3 ways. The first is I write my journals and my to-do lists in a mix of languages. It's not to be like quirky or fun, but actually writing in Korean is a lot faster and more efficient than English because it takes up a lot less character space. So that's a benefit for my life. I'm practicing the language, I'm keeping it alive, and I'm doing things faster because it's easier to write in Korean than it is to write in English. Number 2, I create my shopping lists in different languages. That also helps me be like, I don't know how to say bananas in Hungarian, so I don't actually know how to say that. I know potatoes, krumpli. So if I need to buy potatoes, I'll just write krumpli on my shopping list. And that helps you pick up new words as well. And it's not me sitting and studying how to learn fruits in Hungarian. It's me bringing it into my life and saying, it turns out I buy potatoes every week. This is a word I might need to use often. Let me write it in my shopping list. Do you see how I'm connecting habits and bringing the language into my life? And number 3, super crucial for me, is texting language partners and friends in different languages. I skyrocketed my Korean language learning in high school because I was on KakaoTalk a lot. Like, I was a teenager on my phone texting my friends all the time. And I have this notebook where I wrote down sentences that my friends texted me that I didn't understand, and I would translate them, and I would learn the sentence structure and the vocab there so that I could use those sentences on other people and other friends. What I'm getting at from this video is integrate the languages into your life. You don't have to dedicate hours a day to sitting and studying this. Obviously, if you're a lower level, like me, let's take Turkish. I had to learn Turkish 2 years ago because I went on a volunteering trip to help out with earthquake relief there. Obviously, at that level, I'm not going to be like, let's listen to Turkish radio, because it's not going to help me because I'm beginner. I had to cut out time in my schedule and be like, I'm going to sit now, start from the basics, learn the pronunciation rules, learn the top 1,000 words, learn present tense, past tense, and I created a really systemized, structured approach to learn a language from a beginner level. What I'm sharing in this video is mostly maintaining my languages at intermediate or advanced levels. So if you're thinking of learning 5 languages from scratch as a beginner, this video is probably not for you, and I hope I haven't misled you. But if you are a beginner and you want to learn a language from scratch, I have hundreds of videos for you, so please do check out the rest of the videos on my channel. In closing, learning multiple languages at the same time is not about having some incredible talent and big brain, but it's about creating systems that work for your language learning style and lifestyle. By building a balanced language learning ecosystem with tools and methods that work for you, you can make steady progress across multiple languages. All right, guys, it has been a super long video. If you watched up until here, thank you so much for sticking with me. Let me know in the comments what you thought and what kind of videos I can make for you next. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really, really helps my channel. And I hope you have an incredible day further.